feeling like I'm Akademiks.
So Tory Lanez, there's some updates on his appeal, right? There's been new information that's been provided via an affidavit. The driver, Jaquan Smith, who was the only sober person that night in the vehicle. Remember, in the vehicle was Kelsey Nicole. We had Meg Thee Stallion and we had Tory Lanez. All were inebriated and drunk from the pool party at Kylie Jenner's house. They hop in the car. The driver is clearly sober. He's also the bodyguard for Tory Lanez. His name is Jaquan Smith. He never took the stand at the initial hearing and an initial trial for Tory Lanez, and obviously Tory Lanez got found guilty. He showed up on one of the last days of trial, and they were about to put him on the stand. Instead, it was a bizarre move and a bizarre incident because the judge says, "Yo, okay, we could put him on the stand, but prosecutor, what do you think?" The prosecutor says, "Well, we were looking for this nigga for dumb long. We couldn't find him. It's ironic he's showing up now. Hey, he could testify, but we want to have a chance to speak with him and prepare, right?" Which makes sense. You can't just be like, "Hey, I'm here." They said, well, if that's the case, we're going to give the prosecutor some time, and this case won't be concluded till after Thanksgiving, or I forgot what the timeline was. Based on that, right? Based on that, Tory Lanez's team said, it's okay. We don't need the driver. By the way, this is right after the guy, Tom Kelly, who was supposed to be Tory's witness, basically agreed with the prosecutor that they seen the short nigga waving the gun around in the air. So their main witness, right, Tory's main witness, flipped to the prosecutor's side. Jaquan, they kind of needed him, but they said, no, we don't want the case to go beyond this next holiday that's coming up. And by the way, it could be for multiple reasons. Maybe they felt like, hey, if we let the jury go home and sit on this for a week, they might do the Googling. They might start listening to songs. We feel we got him. I don't know why they felt that way, but they were clearly wrong because Tory got found guilty. Now, in the appeal, they're submitting that Jaquan Smith, the driver, is now given a sworn testimony via an affidavit of what he witnessed that night. This is the sworn testimony here. Let's get into it a bit. So, reading it, and let me try to zoom in a little bit. Fuck. All right, do I gotta just... My name is Jaquan Smith. I gotta look a little closer. I am over the age of 18. So this is an affidavit just swearing to certain what they're going to call facts that he could testify to, right? I have firsthand knowledge of the facts in question that took place on July 12, 2020. That is the basis of the above call or above cited proceedings. Okay, so basically saying, I am a direct witness, right? Now, let me see. I got to get a bigger picture of this. Hold on, chat. Jesus Christ. Here we go. Cool. Got it. I was the driver and the bodyguard of Mr. Daystar Peterson, who's better known as Tory Lanez. In July of 2020, Mr. Peterson has been known to me for 7 years. Oh, shit, my bad. 7 years. At the time of the incident, I have worked... Make sure I can say... at the time of the incident, I've worked for Mr. Peterson for 3 years. He was not only been my employer, but I also consider him a close personal friend. On July 12, 2020, I was asked to drive Mr. Peterson to the home of Kylie Jenner, where Miss Megan Pete and Kelsey Harris were present. Mr. Peterson, was at Mrs. Jenner's home for approximately 2 hours when I received a call to come pick up Miss Pete and Miss Harris. Miss Pete, Miss Harris, and myself left Miss Jenner's home, but I was asked by Miss Pete to return because she stated she had forgot her shoes. Now, this is the first time when they left, so Tory wasn't there. Okay? So Tory, he's basically saying Tory called me to come pick up Miss Pete, which is Meg, and Miss Harris, which is Kelsey Nicole Harris. So he picks up Kelsey and Meg. They leave, but then Meg says, remember, Tory was supposed to come afterwards, but Meg is thinking Tory's trying to stay back to fuck on Kylie, and yo, she's thinking, we're fucking nigga. You know how bitches are. They're like, yo, I'm about to play a hate you out of getting some new pussy, right? So she tells the nigga, no, drive the car back there. No, I left something there. I got to go back. So I was asked by Miss Pete, Meg, to return because she stated she had forgotten a shoe. When we arrived at Miss Jenner's home at this time, Miss Harris stayed in the car. So that's Kelsey. While Miss Pete, Meg, exited. Miss Pete did not enter the home at this time as she went around the back to the pool area where Mr. Peterson was located. So he's basically almost saying she said she forgot a shoe, but she went looking for Tory, right? Because she's cop blocking Tory. Both Miss Pete and Mr. Peterson returned to the car. After a few minutes, Miss Pete was bickering, but I'm unsure exactly what they were saying. She seemed upset. The four of us left Miss Jenner's residence. As I began to drive, Miss Pete started to fight with Mr. Peterson. They were going back and forth. I remember Mr. Peterson saying to Miss Pete that he was going to tell Miss Harris what's going on. What was going on? Tory's fucking both of them, right? He was basically, he was trying to tell Kelsey, oh, Kelsey, you know your girl fucking me, and she knew me and you was talking before, right? Okay. So I do not remember what street we were on, but Miss Pete asked me to stop the vehicle. I did as she asked, and Miss Pete went to sit at a nearby bus stop. So that's the second time Meg asked for the driver to do something, either go back to Kylie's house, and the second time she said, let me out of the car, and they stopped the car. She hopped out and went to go sit at a nearby bus stop. Tory went and spoke with Miss Pete. So he basically walked over there, spoke with her. After about 2 minutes, they returned to the car and I began driving again. Miss Pete started the argument again. And Miss Harris asked what was going on. Miss Peterson told her he and Miss Pete, Mr. Peterson told her that he and Miss Pete have been dating and intimate. Kelsey was upset by this, as she and Miss Tory had been dating in the same manner prior to any relationship with Meg. Meg and Kelsey started fighting. Okay, I gotta find the full affidavit here. What the fuck? Oh, sorry, chat. I think I got the hiccups or something. Did I spell his name wrong? It's Jaquan. There's no C, right? Jaquan Smith. Okay. There got to be more pages. Where's the other pages? Where's the other pages? Is it a lot of pages? Can we find it? Who's this? Fear Buck. Let me see. What did Yuri say? Lesson learned. Shit crazy. Lesson learned, though. Don't try to be a good person. Just let bitches shoot it out. Next time, fuck it. I do agree. Men, we got to stay out of bitches' business. I mean, when women fight. You get what I'm saying? Okay, here we go. There was a third page. It's on Feared Buck's page. Let me see. Apparently there was a third. I'm trying to read the rest of the affidavit. Let's see. Where's the full affidavit? Okay. Oh, thanks. Perfect. So, yeah, we read this part already. Okay. Then they start fighting. Here's the last page that I needed. I pulled over to stop them. Miss Pete and Miss Harris both got out the vehicle and continued to fight. So Meg and Kelsey get out the vehicle. They continue to fight, both verbally and physically. I broke up this fight and was pulling Miss Pete toward the back of the car. So he said he broke up the fight. He was pulling Meg to the back of the car. I saw Miss Harris, which is Kelsey, with a gun in her hand. Mr. Peterson ran from behind Mrs. Pete and myself. So he's holding Meg, right? He's holding Meg, and he sees over there Kelsey has now got the gun in her hand. Tory, who's not in the fight according to him, runs from behind. He's holding Meg like this. He runs from behind the security guard who's holding Meg and towards Mrs. Harris, who has the gun, which is Kelsey. Tory and Mrs. Harris began struggling as Tory tried to unarm Kelsey. I was still pulling Meg. I did not see who shot the weapon. I was lucky I was not harmed. And in my opinion, Meg was also fortunate. The whole incident happened so quickly within a couple of minutes. I just want to present this evidence during Mr. Peterson's trial, but was prevented from doing so as district attorney was not ready to cross-examine me And later, they did not call me due to the holidays and court schedule. I believe I should have been allowed to present this evidence at trial. Now, this is interesting, chat. This helps Tory heavily, I believe. But I do want to show y'all how everybody is being careful. When you do these sworn affidavits, these are things you're supposed to be able to repeat in court. And when you repeat it in court, you're going to be sworn into the court, and you could perjure yourself, which could send yourself to jail. I think this would have been almost exonerating type of evidence for Tory if the driver said, I seen Kelsey fire that gun. But you note, he says everything that helps Tory, but what does he say at the end? I was still pulling on Meg. I did not see who shot the gun. Hey, if you're going to be on Tory's side, I'd say be on Tory's side, but I think he don't want to perjure himself as well. He says, I saw them struggle, but he won't say I saw her shoot the gun, which I think the prosecutor is going to be going hard on that particular part to say, okay, cool, great testimony or great affidavit, but this doesn't warrant any of the information or the verdict to be overturned, or we need a new trial, because we have other people. Meg says Tory shot. Kelsey just acted stupid. And then, of course, you have the Thomas Kelly dude. He's the one who says he's seen the short guy with the gun. So there's two people saying that they seen Tory shot. There's nobody saying they seen Kelsey shot. There are saying they saw a gun in her hand. The prosecutor's going to argue that to say, why are we going to do this trial over again? We sentenced him to jail, or he got found guilty for shooting that gun. Even the bodyguard in his new information cannot say he did not see Tory. Well, he is saying he don't see Tory shoot the gun, but he can't place the gun in somebody else's hand. Somebody did shoot the gun. We have two people who put it in Tory's hands and who says Tory fired the trigger. One is Meg, the victim. One is another bystander who's a third party, supposedly neutral person who shouldn't have a horse in a race. So again, I think this is going to help. I don't know how much though. Right? I don't know how much. I think it would help a lot if he said, I seen Kelsey shoot. Because there's so many arguments you could have after that. He said he's seen Kelsey with a gun in her hand, right? But the prosecutors don't care about charging her with gun possession. Remember, possession, you just need to have possession of the weapon. They don't care to charge her with possession. They probably gave her a plea. So they say Tory had the gun. Keep in mind, if Tory was wrestling the gun away, and by the way, this is carefully crafted, that doesn't necessarily mean possession, right? Possession would mean Tory has complete control of the gun and has it in his possession, which Jaquan never says he does. He says he was trying to wrestle with the girl for the gun to stop her from shooting Meg. So maybe they could say, well, that goes towards the possession charge for Tory, but I don't think it helps Tory case the fact that he says certain things he didn't see. If you're going to come out at this stage, right, after all these witnesses already said shit and the victim is saying whatever, who the jury's going to believe the victim, you got to basically say Tory never had the gun in his possession. He was trying to wrestle it from the girl who had it in her possession, trying to shoot Meg. And when I looked up, Kelsey was in possession of the gun, firing the trigger. That helps Tory a lot. This here, I don't know who shot. The prosecutor's going to go in and be like, yeah, so this nigga don't know who did the shooting. We have two people who said that Tory did it. We have nobody that said that she did it. This is a key integral eyewitness. Remember, Meg is drunk. So even though she's a victim and it matters a lot what the victim says, she's drunk and she also said her back was turned, right? So imagine the security is holding her like this. Yo, calm down, calm the fuck down. He's walking her to the back of the car. Right? So maybe that's why her back was turned, right? He's walking her like this. Tory's over here, according to this affidavit. He sees Kelsey behind the security, so the security back should be turned too. He runs over there trying to get the gun out of her hand. Maybe Jaquan looks over, sees that, but he's trying to get Meg over there. Then the gun goes off. It doesn't shoot Meg, but it shoots the ground. Bullet fragments, nothing hit Jaquan. By the way, something probably could have almost hit him, but we do know she came from a pool party. She doesn't have anything protecting her legs. She doesn't have on jeans. She don't have on no shoes. She don't have nothing. Remember, she went back for the shoes that she never found. So if a bullet fragment, hits, whether it's at whatever speed, it's more likely to cut or injure her versus a driver who you'd imagine is in maybe denim jeans. And not saying that a bullet fragment can't go through denim jeans. I'm not saying that at all. Or maybe he was even like shot, but like he gonna hold it down and keep it peak, right? Who knows? Who knows, man? Fuck. Now, granted, I do think that this guy is such an important witness. He's the only one, and I'm surprised they didn't make that a thing in his I'm surprised they didn't make that a thing in his affidavit. It matters a lot, chat. It matters a lot. If you keep pointing out Meg Thee Stallion, Kelsey Harris, and even Tory Lanez were all inebriated, or at least if you're trying to help Tory, say the women 100% were. Why? Their statements and their recollection of the events has to be questioned because they were under the influence. Now, if I'm whoever is helping this, if you're trying to help Tory, hey, the women were clearly drunk. I watched them stumble out of Kylie Jenner's house. They're slurring their speech the entire time in the car. I, who am the driver and a licensed person to carry, I did not consume any alcohol and was within my right mind. I was sober. That goes a lot to tell an appellate committee or an appellate judge, hey, we listened to a bunch of drunk people give testimony. Kelsey, drunk. Remember, Kelsey at one point was so drunk, she was just passed the fuck out at Kylie's house. So she was knocked the fuck out. Meg was lit, but awake, but maybe in a blacked out mode because she was acting the fuck up. Apparently, she was almost getting a little aggressive. The only sober person is Jaquan. I'm surprised they don't make that a bigger thing. The only sober person that night that was in the situation is now speaking. And he's saying this. Somebody said, real question, why didn't Tory testify? Usually most people don't like when the defendant is on. Testifying for Tory, they're going to cross-examine you, right? Like they're going to, and keep in mind, like for example, if they tripped up Kelsey, but Kelsey, from what we know, had some type of immunity. So as long as she didn't lie, she could do the I don't remember shit all she want, but as long as she's not lying, she's straight. So, she went on the stand to have a purpose. It appears to be like, yo, Tory didn't do it. But after they played her last shit and they tripped her up so much, she didn't do as much help as she thought she would have done. But what she definitely did do is not perjure herself. With Tory is, again, whatever he says, they're going to hang him with. Also, here's the thing as well. It's not that Tory was none of the statements that, like, imagine what Tory would have said. Yo, I was trying to save her, blah, blah, blah. Tory never told the cops that. Tory never did anything of the sort. Also, Tory shouldn't have a weapon. So it's not going to help him as much as maybe even, he has to plead the fifth. Remember, he can't, if he says, oh, I'm wrestling the gun, like, you got to think about this. All right, even if his story is, yeah, I'm wrestling the gun away from Kelsey, I'm trying to make sure she doesn't shoot. Okay, the gunshot goes off 5 times. The police are going to say, and then what happens? Oh, yeah, so I finally got control of the gun, then I put the gun back in the car. Well, that's gun possession. So you just snitch on yourself. right? You can't plead. If you're on the stand and you're like, oh, I want to plead the fifth at that point, they're going to like, bruv, now you got to speak, right? Remember, he's charged with gun possession. It don't matter even if he wrestles a gun from her and takes the gun and puts it in the car. It's still gun possession. Right? So again, when everybody say take the stand to say what? Because now you can't just end the story of y'all wrestling and then shots go off. Who put the gun in the car? Why is the gun beneath? They're gonna ask him certain shit that, bro. Like also, if you're like you fumbling, you trying to get your story straight, bro, you're gonna look fucked up. Yo, okay, so you wrestle a gun from her, shots go off. Who has the gun? Who has the possession of the gun afterwards? No, she did. I didn't successfully do it. Okay, cool. But why is the gun under your seat? It's where you're sitting at when the police pulled you over. Why, if she refused to give you the gun and was fighting with you for the gun, would she then put the gun between your legs? Make that make sense. See, why do I keep saying Tory should take the stand? They're gonna butcher him with that type of shit. You get what I'm saying? Tory's case is, yo, y'all just can't prove I did it. There is enough reasonable doubt that it could have been the girl. It could have been some other shit that shouldn't make y'all find me guilty because y'all can't prove without a reasonable doubt. Right? Tory's case, that's it. So it's better if he doesn't take the stand and just keep poking holes in the case for the prosecutors. Here's also the thing too. It's very popular as well when niggas lose a case. Now you're like, oh, let's use the one thing that we didn't want to use in preparation. Right? Because shit, you already lost. You're like, damn, maybe if I did take the stand, I could be a little bit more believable. But no, brother, no. Somebody say you should have took the 3 years, you'll be out next year. All right.